Driving a bus, you're just sitting there driving. Day in, day out, 8-hour shift. Sometimes if you're really busy, you may spend your entire shift in the seat because you're running behind schedule or something. You're sitting in traffic, sometimes you might sit in the seat for 3 hours in traffic. Again, you're not moving. The advice I give people is just you gotta be moving. If you're gonna sit down, you're gonna die. I'm a prime example. I'm Steve Dean, and I drive a city bus.
I think one of the life lessons that the cells I've studied has taught me is this concept of if you don't use it, you lose it. Cells know what they're doing, but they need to be challenged.
One of the biggest obstacles our circulation is up against is something that we have absolutely no control over. Gravity. Humans are an upright species. We walk on 2 legs. So once our blood has traveled down the arteries and unloaded oxygen to all the cells below the heart, that same blood then has to move straight upwards again through our veins to get back to where it started, working against Earth's gravitational pull the entire time. In most cases, arteries rely on the heart to pump blood, but veins have to get their power from another source. Muscles. When you tense your leg muscles, they propel blood upwards. But this ingenious adaptation only works if the muscles are active. Otherwise, the pumps have no energy to work with. Think about sitting for long periods of time. Your leg muscles aren't doing anything, so they can't pump that blood back to the heart with any real force. And that can lead to major problems.
A bus driver's heart, cruising through traffic with no issue, is beating at a resting pace. There's no sense of urgency to increase the heart rate and throw more blood to the body.
You're very sedentary when you're driving the coach. You sit there a lot. And that's kind of one of the downfalls of driving the coach. Back in 2010, when I was working a lot, just sitting there driving, I was up to about 250, 260 pounds. I felt sluggish.
Our jobs have never been more stationary. They've moved from farms to cities, and now onto the internet. And we're constantly told to exercise because the damage can creep up on you silently.
On general inspection, the heart of a sedentary person might look normal. However, if you probe more deeply and look, for example, at the arteries that supply blood to the heart muscle, it's more likely that those arteries would have more signs of fatty deposits, in part because of the sedentary lifestyle.
Not moving actually makes the body worse at processing fat. And probably everyone on Earth will tell you that fat is the enemy. And here's why. It's really just a matter of space. When we exercise, the arteries surrounding the heart expand. When we don't, they get thinner. And blood needs room to move.
A river can get blocked by rocks, for example. Similarly, blood vessels can develop blockages called atherosclerosis, which are essentially fatty deposits that start at the wall and start to protrude inward and eventually impede blood flow.
This is also why it's very important, guys, to exercise, but also to eat healthy as well. All right? So a lot of this stuff also just comes from super high processed foods, things like fast food, McDonald's, Wendy's, that kind of stuff. Every once in a while is okay, it's not gonna hurt you, but like if you're eating that stuff like daily, over time, and not exercising, this will start to creep up on you and start to affect your health.
These blockages that build over time can get us into real trouble.
I felt this burning in my chest. I drove myself to St. Peter's emergency room. They did an EKG. The doctor, she said, "You've had a heart attack."
The heart not only pumps blood to the entire body, but it also pumps blood to itself. It's self-sustaining. No other organ does that. The heart is so hard-working that it needs a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients to remain functional. When those arteries get clogged up with fatty deposits, that can result in stoppage of blood flow to the heart muscle. And when that heart muscle dies, that's called a heart attack.
And unlike other muscles, heart cells barely regenerate. When they die, scar tissue grows in their place. And scar tissue can't pump.
It was the very tip of an artery. It was blocked. They said if you'd have went to sleep, you might not have woke up. You know, it's an eye-opening experience. I just realized my time on this earth now has a limit. It made me realize that I need to do things in my life different. Oh gosh, we're just about here. Well, I drive Dialift now. Good morning. How are you today? Dialift is a door-to-door service for passengers with disabilities or elderly, something that prevents them from riding the normal bus.
Mary Ann is my first rider today. I take her to the Sacred Heart Church.
Is this an express?
Yeah, you're going straight there today.
Oh, good. That works for me.
I probably added another 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day by driving Dialift.
Good morning, Dialift.
You're out of the seat, and then you escort them out to the van,
After you, I'll have you know on board there.
and you get them on the lift on the van.
Okay, up we go. And this step's a little higher, so I'll hold you.
Sometimes you have your arm out so them to hold on so they're steady. It's things like that that keep you healthy.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, get to go work out.
Yay, hey, that's good for you. Will you have a wonderful day today?
You feel like a celebrity.
I feel like Steve, as always.
If you don't need a strong heart, your body won't give you one. If you don't need strong muscles, why would your body make one? So it's in a way, like if you don't use it, you lose it. But if you use it, you get it. It's been really exciting for me to see this in practice, you know, with people who are experiencing the increase in strength that can come about so quickly just by exercising and giving ourselves a little bit of a challenge. To me, it's just very life-affirming to think that at any age, we always have the opportunity to adapt and to do better.
The heart and vessels are a mind-bendingly vast system. But to operate, they need blood.
I mean, it's not for nothing that we refer to the metaphorical lifeblood, because the blood is literally the life-giving fluid. What is blood? Blood is essentially composed of two substances. One is the plasma, which is basically salts, water, and proteins. And the other part is cells.
Red blood blood cells account for more than 80% of all of our cells. And the other 20% rely on them to survive. 1 million times every minute, red blood cells absorb the oxygen that we need to live.
It's an extraordinary piece of our physiology. Our heart pumps out 5 to 6 liters of blood a minute, and that blood is constantly being circulated around the body with new oxygen that's breathed in every few seconds, with waste products that are being cleaned out on that same time scale. It powers every moment of our day-to-day lives.
Their never-ending job has given red blood cells a unique structure. Unlike other cells, they don't have a nucleus. Instead, they're filled with massive quantities of a protein called hemoglobin. It's made of iron, which is why blood is red. Hemoglobin grabs onto the oxygen we breathe in. Then, at the right moment, it lets go, and oxygen molecules pass into the surrounding cells. What's crazy is that hemoglobin is toxic to the human body. If it escaped from even a tiny fraction of our red blood cells, it could kill us. But as long as it stays within the cell's walls, it can't harm us. Red blood cells have a margin of error of exactly 0, and they do their job perfectly. That is, as long as there's enough blood in the body to go around. Because when we lose blood, everything is then in jeopardy. And just a few minutes can mean the difference between life and death. The city of Accra is home to 2 million people. It's Ghana's capital. Its beating heart. 150 miles away, over rugged terrain, is the tiny town of Asisinwa. A place so remote that the word emergency takes on a whole new meaning.
I say 1 + 2. I say 3. Once a month. Hello. That's me.
If I'm a payer, that's a new queen. My wallet. My medicines. I wish you had fought the master. I wish you had known some woman.
The bond between mother and child is profound, and it starts in the womb. The first thing they share is blood.
The fetus doesn't breathe. It's floating in amniotic fluid, and it only receives oxygen through the mother's blood supply, through the umbilical cord. The mother's blood supply also ferries waste out of the fetus, which then gets cleared by the mother's kidneys.
It's an amazing exchange, but it also means that when something goes wrong with one, both are in danger.
Dr. Philip Ajimai Prempe. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist at St. Michael Hospital. We make over 2,000 deliveries every year in this facility.